Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. It's that time. The Tulip Tribe collaboration. Thanks for joining me. I've got my iced coffee again. This time I'm going to try not to get flower stems in it so I don't choke at the end of the live, but still decided it's time for iced coffee because it's summertime. It's summertime. Kind of strange to think we're in the second half of the year. What a year it's been. Let's do quick housekeeping review. If you're watching on your phone, turn it sideways for a bigger picture. If the comments bug you, swipe it. It'll put it in silent mode, then it won't cover up the picture. Or turn it back vertical. That works. If you're on your computer, you can go to full screen. If you're on your TV, I'm mega large. How are you? I promised you I'd have back the silver compote because last week we skipped it. So it's ready. It's filled with floral netting, just like we teach you in basic floral design and advanced floral design. You know, there's so many different mechanics now, and we've expanded the classes to include everything so that you can determine what works for you. Flowers galore, so many fabulous things. Got a lot planned for you today. Have my knife. I'm ready. We've got a full house with us today in the studio. Teacher Marisa and Teacher Carolyn, both here, watching you on YouTube and on Facebook so that they can see what your questions are, what your comments are, and verbalize them to me so that we can acknowledge you live, verbally. And then with us virtually, Caledonia, Susie, and David. They're all with us, joining in, making sure that you're welcomed, that your questions get answered. And then most important of all, we have you, the Tulip Tribe, sharing an hour of your life with us today, Wednesday, July 1st, Canada Day. So a shout out to all our neighbors and friends up north in Canada celebrating Canada Day today. We can all be Canadian, and celebrate with them. So happy Canada Day. Then we're all getting ready for the 4th of July, the US holiday. And we're actually going to be closed on Friday, taking a 3-day weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so that we can enjoy the holiday. Although it's kind of a weird one because you can't do much. You're not really able to be out. We're all still masked up. I have mine so that I stay masked. Take it off when I'm on live. Marisa and Carolyn have their masks on. I wear my mask all the time because we want everybody to stay well, stay healthy, stay alive. But today, be sure to post in there your tulip if you're part of the tribe. Let us know where you're from and get to know each other. Start collaborating and connecting with your tribe. I'm going to design while we get started. I've got some eucalyptus. Isn't this beautiful? It's great eucalyptus, really wonderful, nice and fresh, and gives me wonderful drape. Even before I do anything, I can just place it in, let it drape outward, clear down to the tabletop, getting wonderful movement. It adds beautiful line to the arrangement, quickly, cleaning it off. Don't want any to go down into the water. Then bringing it in, some kind of upwards, some downwards, so that I get lines going through the design, starting to add some impact in here. So how are you all doing? What's going on in your world? What would you like to share? Have you had any successes this week? Anything new and exciting going on? I've talked to several graduates who have said they're starting to do weddings again. They're smaller, they're more intimate, much like what we talked about in the Wedding Trends video in the Flower Lovers Club. But they are having weddings again, which is exciting. We all need to celebrate life and continue on. What are you doing? What's been happening in your world? So I throw that out there. Type in your answers. Marisa and Carolyn will be watching, and they'll let me know what you say. But I'm wondering, what's going on in your world? What's happening? Is it positive? Is it negative? What do you want to share with the tribe? Go ahead and put it in. And Marisa, Carolyn, what's going on out there?
Well, John has a question. He thinks it's a strange one, but I think it's a great one. He is saying that he is a clippers type of guy and is wondering why you're using a knife.
Oh, the perpetual knife question. There's clippers, there's shears, there's knives. I have a clipper up here too, you can see. And I have my knife. I have a shear. I have my most favorite shear in the whole wide world that isn't available anymore, the Whisk 2DA. I've used these for probably 40 years now. Love these shears. They no longer manufacture them, they don't exist, but they're a nice shear. This is a great little clipper. I like the size. It's very small. It's a claws clipper. And then this is the clipper from the Oasis company, Smithers Oasis. And then my knife. I like a clipper too, I'll be honest. There are times that you just want to be able to clip, but I use it very little. The reality is I primarily work with my knife. Years ago, I would teach you that your flowers would last longer with a knife and that you wanted to use it because if you slice through with a single blade, that it would last longer because it's not going to compress the stem. But I've tested it over and over and over, and I can't really find a difference in using the clipper. They last just as long, so I can't say it's for that reason, although I did teach that for many years, but I was wrong because I can't prove it. The reason that I use a knife over a clipper is simply to protect my hand. If you work with your hands, if you're an artist, you need to protect your body. And so using a knife, this motion is safest on your body. This motion, a clipper, can lead to carpal tunnel. A carpal tunnel can shut down your career, create a real problem. So that's my reason for using a knife as opposed to a clipper, is strictly protecting my body. That's all it is. I want to make sure that I can grow old, continuing to be a florist, and not have to worry about damaging my hand. So that's the reason. In the classroom, we give every student a knife when they're here, and they design with a knife. We teach you how to use it so that you don't cut yourself, teach you how to use it so you don't hurt your arm, teach you how to use it so that you're fast, you're efficient, you're productive, all those things that we want. I'm adding some fatsia leaves in, terracing them one over the other, angling them, going down into the floral netting so it totally secures them, coming back out the opposite side, creating a horizontal line, guiding your eye front to back, the elements and principles, thinking about flower school. If you've joined me online, if you've joined me in the classroom, you know the elements and principles are vital to every single arrangement. You need a form. Right now I have an oval form going on. You need line. Right now I have a horizontal line pulling you through. You need spacing, you need texture, you need color, you need focal emphasis. So let's go ahead and maybe add a little bit of focal emphasis in here. Got some beautiful hydrangea. Hydrangea are super thirsty. Think about their root word, hydra, hydrangea, hydra, water. So they're super thirsty. So if you give them a cut and then dip them in alum. So alum is a pickling spice. We have it online. You can order it from us. You can buy it at the grocery store many times. It's with your canning supplies often. Some naturopathic people use it to fight canker sores. You might find it with medicinal uses. But I find that it will hold much better if you give it a cut. And I oftentimes do a double cut, then dip it in the alum, and then place it into the water, making sure it's deeply in there so that it hydrates, hydra, water, hydrangea, hydrating, you know. Sometimes if you know your root words and really study, You can learn so much about a flower just by learning its characteristics. They're big, they're boastful. That's part of the Victorian language of flowers. They represent boastfulness because they're big and flashy. They're fabulous. I love hydrangea. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some more flowers while I'm pulling. Carolyn, Marisa, what else is going on?
Well, we've got quite a few tribe members. We have Janet, Pearl, Pam, Jan, Tomasi, Vicky, Elaine, Marnak, Ginger, Tess, Garrett, Leslie, and Angela, all representing the U.S., New Zealand, Canada, and Barbados.
I love it. Marisa.
Okay, so the answer to your question of what's going on out there. So Catherine is still working an 8 to 5 job, but would rather be working with flowers. Mary had her first grandbaby. And Lori said, the wind blew down a big branch from my neighbor's magnolia tree, and she generously picked that up for them.
I love it. Don't you love a windstorm? Gifts from the wind angels. You know, a windstorm that leaves you just little treasures that we can use in our floral design. You got to look at the positives. Nobody likes to have a windstorm, but sometimes you get the benefit, which is kind of nice. So I added in some Delphinium, pulling your eye up to the side, working with my blues, just because I don't know why. I ended up with blue on my mind today. You know, it's the Pantone color of the year, the classic blue. And when you look at, you know, what are the favorite colors, nationally and internationally, the favorite color, number one, is usually blue, which is kind of interesting. It's not my favorite color, but I don't know why I'm drawn to this today. So I've got some Delphinium, some hydrangea, eucalyptus, fatsia, in the silver compote that you all wanted to see last week that I didn't get to. If you haven't typed in what's going on in your world, let us know. You know, if you're working an 8 to 5 job and wish you were in flower school so that you could start a new career, it's the right time for that. You know, it's amazing. Flowers are more important now than they have ever been, simply because we all need a bit of brightness in our lives. Things are not the best ever. It's scary times, but flowers give brightness, give happiness. This is a fun flower. It might not be familiar to you. It's not super abundant. It's called tweedia, Tweedia, tweedia. It has that really wonderful soft blue hue, and I like to work with it. It's only available in the spring and early summer. It'll be gone here very soon. But for the moment, we get to enjoy it and design with it. Finding a hole to place it in here. And I'll just keep poking flowers while you guys let me know what's going on.
So I have, I think it's Leola that's on, and said that she just joined the club, but she can't sign in. So I just wanted to let her know that she can always give us a call or email us and we can help her with that.
Leola, you got it. So Marisa's here. She's got her mask on, so you maybe couldn't hear her talking, but she sees that you weren't able to log in. So call us after this is over. We'll be here from 4 to 5. Pick up the phone and give us a holler, or pop off an email. If you're brand new, it's possible I didn't get you entered yet, because I personally enter most of the Flower Lovers Club, and because I was getting ready for live, I haven't looked in the last few hours. So if you're brand new, you could be not able to log in just because I haven't done it yet. And so I will check after live and see if that's my fault and my problem. But you should be able to log in once I send you your personal password, and that will get you into the 5 private libraries in the club so that you can learn more, do more, be more, which is very exciting. I'm going to turn this so you can look at it from different sides. I'm working with kind of a diagonal line coming through, the focal emphasis, the horizontal line coming through with the fatsia leaves, and then making it all-sided. I didn't want it to end up with a real true front and back, although I'm thinking this was my front that was facing you earlier, but you can see the back is equally as beautiful, because now where we're oftentimes delivering flowers to the home as opposed to an office. They get set on a coffee table or a dining table where people are going to see it from all sides. So it's becoming more and more important to design all-sided so that it looks good no matter where you put it. So it's kind of important to think about those things as you're designing as to where is it going to be set, who's going to see it, how are they going to see it, and how best to show it off.
So I have a possible tip for you, Leanne, and maybe everyone else for the Tulip Tribe out there. So Janet had asked, how do we make alum not clumpy?
Oh, I don't know. How do we make it not clumpy?
Valerie said that you would add rice to it.
Oh, true. Interesting. Yes, if you put anything with a little bit of rice, the rice works like a desiccant and absorbs any extra moisture. Brilliant. Thank you guys for sharing that. That's why I love the tribe. I just learned something. Alum with a little rice won't get clumpy. Who knew? Well, you knew. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. You know, there's not a week that I don't learn something from you all. I hope that the same goes for you from our side, but every single week I'm so grateful for the things that I learn from you. Thank you. Thank you. Adding in some ocean song roses, filling in my focal emphasis, bringing your eye up to the top, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring it back down towards the bottom as well, because I don't want it to be just up at the top. So adding in a few more blooms, coming outward. Carolyn?
Yeah, Pearl has a great question. She's wondering, how do you tell that Delphinium is getting older, and is there any special care for an older stem of Delphinium?
Well, an older stem of Delphinium, in my experience, just starts shedding like mad. All the little florets fall off. See if I can find, okay, this one's a little bit older, and see how if I touch it, the petals just start flaking? That's old. And they're gonna keep flaking, you can't stop it. You could spray it with like hairspray, kind of locks it in, but it's still old, it's still going to die. So I find whenever I buy larkspur, delphinium, belladonna, I take the bunch and I hold it upside down and I shake it like that. And if I see all these petals fall off, I don't buy it. Put it back. Or if I just get it in, I do the same thing, clear it out, and then hydrate it, and it should stay beautifully. It shouldn't keep flaking out. It also does well with a little bit of quick dip, and it does well with flower food. But if it's old, it's old. There's not much you can do about that. So you want to do your best to buy fresh and then keep it fresh. So.
And speaking of delphinium, Leanne, John says that whenever he gets delphinium, they're always twisted and intertwined with each other and loses a lot of the blooms. Any tips?
Again, when I buy flowers, before I go to pull them apart, you know, let's say I have them in a bunch like this, before I just start pulling, I hold them upside down and I just kind of shake like this loosely and then pull them apart. And I find that shaking them like that, they let go of each other and they quit gravitating to, you know, hanging on. So taking that little bit of time to give it a shake works really well with delphinium, with baby's breath, with most anything. I find it just is a great way to make sure that it isn't intertwined and tangled so that you do get it apart without destroying the rest of your blooms, because you don't want them to just die because they got tangled. You got to protect them as best you can. Bring out some ranunculus over the top, giving myself a little bit of height in the arrangement, finding the perfect spot for it here. That one's not making me happy, so I'm going to take it out and reinsert it. It's one of the beauties of using floral netting is you can take flowers out, reinsert them, and you don't have more holes in foam or something, so it just holds just perfectly, so it's not an issue. Find a better spot for this guy. There we go. turning it around so that you can see the back side, because both sides are pretty. They don't want it to be just one side. You want it to look good no matter where it's turned, so that it looks pretty from all sides. Filling it in.
So while you're designing, Leanne, I haven't given all the tulips I've seen out there a shout out.
Let's hear.
Okay, here we go. So far, they're still coming in. We have Sharon, Wayne, hi David, Renee, Kim, Arthur, Scott, who is a very new online student and is saying, hopefully you have some maple leaves to use today. And Gayla and Diane, Vanjie, who can't wait to finish advanced, Valerie, Janet, Lori, Catherine, Harmony, Wendy, Tammy, Angie, Sarah, Jen, Chris, Alana, Bertha, Molly, Sandy, and Gracie, who may start an internship at her favorite flower shop soon.
Wow, such a great crowd. Welcome to all of you. And I know Scott did just join us. I'm so excited that you are part of the new set of students. It's just a fabulous time to be going to flower school. Marisa?
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so excited. And I think you've seen her too. So Sarah Milton, who is a recent graduate of ours, had posted on the Tulip Tribe page and was saying she had an interview and she just got back and was asked to make rearrangements. And I want to know what happened.
Oh, Sarah, how did the interview go? That's so exciting. You know, interviews are scary, but what a wonderful thing. You were ready. You were prepared. I know you could do it. So how did it go? Fill us in. I'm dying to know because it's scary, but I'm proud of you for doing it. Good job.
And you're having a couple viewers here that are asking about any recommendations on sharpening shears, if there's a special way to do it. Can you ruin them? Can you sharpen them the wrong way?
Yes, 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 and yes. You do want to keep your tools very sharp. You need to do it correctly. You can ruin your tools if you don't sharpen well. For my knife, on a regular basis, I just use a kitchen knife sharpener and it works okay. But I try to take my knives and shears and such in to have them professionally done also, because they just do a better job than I can do. And I think it's worth the investment. So taking the time to go ahead and finding someone who does a great job and taking your knife to them or your shears or whatever is a wise choice. You're basically investing in your career, your flowers, your tools, and you want to make sure that you take care of them. That's very, very, very important.
Mary has a great question. She's asking, why do you use floral netting versus foam for an arrangement? What determines which use?
Good question. Whether you use foam, whether you use floral netting, how do you know which one you want to use? Sometimes it's because you're trying for a specific design style. Other times it's because you want to be ecologically sound and you just want to go foam free. Some foam now is enhanced biodegradable, and so it too can be an eco choice, but you still may want to do a personal choice that you don't want to use foam. I try to do both just to keep my skills up with both. We teach both so that you can make your own choices then what works best for you. So a lot of times it's simply what is going to be best for you personally, and then what works with the design that you're trying to create. Now this particular arrangement is much more casual, and so I don't have a lot of control. Things are just sort of doing what they want to do, and they're shifting, but that's okay because that's the style I'm making. And I can always take something out and reposition it if I wanted to do it a little different. But it still is much more casual. I don't have the control that I would have if I was using foam. So it's a matter of determining what works best for you personally and what really fits the needs of your personal style and what you're doing. Now, all the supplies, all the mechanics, in floral school, we teach you how to use all of them, and then you make choices. Which ones work for you? Is it a clipper? Is it a knife? Is it foam? Is it floral netting? Is it tape, doing a grid? Is it midnight foam? We expose you to all of that so that you can make your own choices, because there's lots of choices and it has to be your choice. Now we do have a special holiday celebration that we're doing right now, and I may as well tell you about it now, and then we'll come back to it again later. Those of you that are in flower school, you know that you need supplies. You need to have foam, you need to have wire netting, you need to have tape and tools and stuff. You just got to have all the things to create your arrangements, and it costs money. Those of you that are in the Flower Lovers Club know that you save 20% every time that you purchase supplies from us, because we give you a code that you can use for purchasing that saves you 20%. Well, for the holiday, we decided to do just a supply special, so that those of you that are trying to stock up to get ready for the rest of the summer, maybe you've got some events coming up because they're starting to come back on to the mode. People are starting to do things again. So I put in a code that's good till Sunday. It's just for the weekend. It's our holiday code for the 4th of July and summer. And I even wrote it out. We're talking old school here. So it's Flower Works. Okay, if you just put that code in when you check out, it's for 10% off of all your supplies. So Flower Works, 10% off all supplies through Sunday. Now, if you're in the Flower Lovers Club, you don't want to use that code. You want to use your code because you save 20%. That's way better for you. So this is for people who aren't members of the Flower Lovers Club. It's a special treat just so that you guys can stock up on your flower supplies. So if you're in flower school and you need some stuff, go ahead and order away. If you're in the Flower Lovers Club, use your 20% code. If you're not in the club, then use Flower Works. That way you can add to your shopping and save 10%. So special little treat that we're doing just for the holiday to celebrate Canada Day, celebrate the 4th of July, celebrate summer, celebrate that we're all still flowering, having fun, and to give it with a little bit of a discount because we all can save a penny or two right now. That way you've got more money to spend on flowers, which I think is important. Adding in a little bit of lily grass just to add some softness here, tucking it in. And then I'm going to go ahead and start another arrangement, but while I finish this up and start moving things around, Carolyn, Marisa, anything else exciting happening?
Yeah, we have a great question that Rose just posted. Do we have left-handed knives?
We do not. They actually, that I have found in the floral world, have not found a left-handed knife. So what I do for left-handed students is I take the knives into my knife sharpener and have him switch the bevel so that it works for a left-handed person. So that's my solution at the moment, is just to take it in and have it sharpened to the left side. But they don't have a left-handed knife. Isn't that interesting? And it's something I always said, oh, it doesn't matter, but it does matter. You do need to have the bevel on the other side or a dual bevel. You know, that works too. So I take it in and have it sharpened to the reverse so that it becomes a left-handed knife, and then it works really well. So students coming in to join us September 14th, we've got 5 registered. We have 1 more space left. I'll be reaching out to you to find out, are you left-handed or right-handed? Because when you join us in the classroom, you get your own knife, and we'll want to make sure it's the right way, be it right or left-handed. Okay, what else is going on out there?
Gosh, I am getting so many questions. Okay, so first, Chu wants to know if we ship to Singapore.
Yes, we do. We ship to Singapore. We ship worldwide. It's kind of amazing. And this, in fact, we called this our worldwide live stream, and I was looking through it. We have students from everywhere, and then we have live guests from everywhere. And I actually had to look up how to say it. We have someone who joins us from Qatar. I didn't know how to say that. Qatar is Qatar. And so if you're on live today, I read about it and I learned it and I practiced saying it, so I would say it correctly. So yes, we do Singapore, we do Malaysia, we do India, we do France, we do Romania, we do Mexico, Canada, the United States, we do South Africa. We have students from almost everywhere in the world. And now that everything's digital, it makes it really easy. Makes it so easy. And we as teachers absolutely love the international element, because when you create your designs, like if I taught you how to do a bespo design in floral netting, and then you go to create, I give you a recipe. Yes, I share with you the recipe of what I use, but I ask you to use flowers that are in your world, in your area. I'm going to set this back so you can see it against the plain wall, and then I'll start gathering some more things. What else is happening?
Well, actually, you may not want to walk away. Eileen has a great question because she's asking, what style do you call this arrangement and why?
This particular design is a very casual arrangement. It's softened, and ironically, last week in the live stream when I did the triangle that was a western line, I did liatris that came very tall, and then I did some fern that came out, and then I did orchids that came out to the side, and it was western line. This is really a modification of that. You can see I've come out and I've come up. I didn't go real tall, but it flows through, so it gives you that movement. If I had curved this more, you could say it's a Hogarth curve, but since I kept it sort of straight, it's not truly a Hogarth. Then I did fill in a little bit of the negative space, letting these come out up over the top. So it's a modification of the western line. I would probably fill it in as a bespo style, B-E-S-P-O-K-E, bespoke, bespo, because it's more casual, one of a kind, a variety of things. You wouldn't be able to duplicate this because every flower would have its own little space and its own little characteristics. So I would call this a western line influenced bespo design with heavy focus on the emphasis and the elements and principles. So I have line coming through, I have form, I've got spacing between the blooms so that it allows you to enjoy them. The mechanics are floral netting. Mechanics are different than style. Kind of fun things that you start learning in flower school. So.
Okay, Leanne, I have two questions that are kind of the same but different, but apply to the same thing. So, John's asking if midnight foam is prone to mold quickly. Used it for the first time and noticed it molding. And then Valerie wants to know if you can actually rinse foam with bleach to keep it from molding to reuse, especially for when you're practicing.
Wow, you know, the midnight foam is enhanced biodegradable. It's the same makeup as their green foam, it's just that it's black. I've not experienced it molding. I have found that it works just fine, but I would not keep it more than 4 or 5 days before I used it to make sure that it wasn't growing bacteria. It almost makes me wonder if the water was contaminated and there was bacteria in that, and then that went into the foam, which then created the mold, which would shorten the life of your flowers. As far as reusing the foam, treating it with bleach and such, no. Once you use foam, you should never use it again. It's really a one-time use, and if it dries out, it will not rehydrate. So if you have a brick of foam and you know you're only going to use a little bit, cut a little bit off before you soak it, and then just soak the part you're going to use so that you keep the rest dry. That way you're not going to end up wasting it. But no, I have not noticed that it molds, and I've not had really that happen. So my thought would be that the water itself maybe was contaminated, creating issues. So this one I thought I would do a component design with 2 containers. I did it with foam, scoring the corners, If you're in flower school, you know that makes a difference. So giving it a little bit of a score here. And then it's taped down with clear tape so that I don't have to worry about trying to hide it as much. And I decided I wanted something linear, and I didn't really have anything that was making me happy. It just didn't seem to quite work. So I grabbed some preserved and lacquered Scotch broom, which made me laugh because when I bought the school in 1988, one of the arrangements that we did always had Scotch broom in it. And I'd forgotten about that till I went and picked this off the shelf. I was like, oh my gosh, it's 1988 all over again. Scotch broom, oh my gosh. We don't use Scotch broom in any of our classes right now that I'm aware of, unless we just happen to have it, but it's not a planned item. But Scotch broom is kind of a fun thing because it does give you wonderful line. Now this one, with it being dried, preserved, and lacquered, is very, very stiff. And so if I tried to bend it, it would just crack and break. Whereas if it's fresh, you can actually mold it and contort it and get beautiful line with it. So I was experimenting with this, and now we're gonna find out. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. I just got this ready before the live, and I put some into a bucket of water. So it's been in here and contorted for about an hour. So let's see if it's gonna hold its contortion or if it was a waste of my time. But I was kind of hoping, yeah, look at that. By soaking it, it's not going to break when I bend it. It gives me the ability to work with it in a curve. Whereas here, if I try to bend it, it just cracks and it's far too stiff. So now I can use it contorted, which is kind of fun, just gives me a little different look.
So that's what you were doing in the sink. I was wondering what you were doing.
I know, I was sneaking around. Because this way I can do something like this maybe. Giving it a little bit different line. Then maybe come in from the opposite side. Bring it over. I was just kind of playing. I didn't know really what I wanted to do, but I thought, you know, this could be kind of fun. And then it just brought up fun memories for me of back in the day when we always did the Scotch broom. That was just, it was just kind of fun. You know, it's amazing to me that I've been teaching and bought the school in 1988, so many years, and how many students who have been through the school and joined us and are still out there, part of my life, part of the world of flowers. They've changed their lives to be in the world of flowers and happiness, doing something they love. And so many of you are in the process of changing your lives, picking new directions. This whole pandemic has sort of changed our thought process and made us all evaluate what makes us happy, what should we be doing with our time. And I know many students have joined us because they've just felt that, you know what, the world's changed and they're not going to do the same thing anymore. They want to change their lives to a very positive mode. And I commend you for that because it's a hard decision to make. You know, how do you uproot your whole plans? But it gives you that opportunity to improve your life, to bring joy and beauty into the world. And right now, flowers are more important than they've ever been. And I find our graduates report in that they're having more sales than they'd ever had, just because people need flowers and beauty in their life. It's a good time to be part of the flower world. The event world has changed drastically, although there's still events going on. They're just different, more outside, more intimate. In my personal opinion, I kind of think it's a good thing. I like the fact that people are more focused on their immediate group of friends as opposed to this huge unknown group of people. And there's a little bit more connection, more time spent together. And the benefit, I mean, this is kind of an odd thing, but the benefit of having masks forces you to look people in the eye. It forces you to look at people. It forces you to see them, to really look in their eyes, and the eyes reach into the soul. I think that's a positive. I think for so many years now we were so big and out of control that we kind of lost touch with the connection and the intimacy. You know, everything got bigger and bolder and broader and worldwide, but we lost touch with that personal connection. And now this is sort of forcing it to bring it back. That's a good thing. I like that. Kind of different, you know. We didn't think a pandemic is positive, and I will never say that it's positive. But I do try to look for what positive is coming from it. And I would say that the positive that's coming from it is that personal connection. It allows us all to spend time with our loved ones. It forced us to slow down, forced us to think about what's important, forced us to evaluate our careers. And I know many, many, many people have joined us for Flower School in this last few months. They did it because they were evaluating their life and feeling like it wasn't complete, that they wanted something in their life that would bring beauty and joy to the world. And flowers do that. Pretty special. What else is going on while I poke flowers? I did my Scotch broom. Now I'm doing some stock.
Well, shout out to our viewers from around the world on Facebook. We have viewers from Tennessee, Illinois, a few locals here in Oregon, South Carolina, Washington, Chile, Slovakia, Alaska. Lunenburg Flowers is with us, Ireland, Grenada, England, South Africa, Singapore, and a couple from Ohio.
Don't you love it? Thank you for joining us. I know for some of you, this is 3 o'clock in the morning. Some of you it's midnight, some of you it's dinner time, some of you it's noon. And I feel honored that you took the time to share an hour with us here at the tribe. Now last week I did some arrangements with some tulips that were very, very, very old, and somebody called me on it and said, you know, aren't they going to fall apart? And then sure enough, they did fall apart. And I just want to show you a technique that I use sometimes. These roughly tulips, they're older. They're not going to hold too well. But if you cut them very short and set them into a vessel where their head is supported, they're still going to look beautiful for a few days. And then go back, take the stem, clean it off, and use that to enhance the lines that we started here. So we've got the dark green, and now we've got some light green. Again, saving the tulip in a little short vase, cleaning it off, just bringing it in. It allows you to change up your arrangements a little different way. Could even take it, bring it up through.
Leanne, I do have a question going back to floral knitting. Do you find it more difficult when it's used in a shallow container?
Floral netting is difficult to work with and takes a lot of practice. That's why we do include it in basic floral design, because I really want you to experiment with it and learn how to use it. Shallow is especially hard for delivery because the water just kind of keeps splashing out. Deeper is always easier, but you want to be able to use it in anything. So it's one of those things you need to practice with to make sure that you get it figured out. And it's always good to practice in the classroom where you have a teacher supporting you, guiding you, giving you hints and support. And whether you're online or in the classroom, it doesn't matter. Either way, you get full teacher support. We're here for you so that when you're working on something and it maybe isn't working as easily as you would like it to, and it's making you kind of crazy, and you're like, well, I can't make it work, I can't make it work. The teachers will guide you through it so that you do get it to work. I think that's the one thing that is totally unique about our program in the whole wide world. There is no one else that does a full teacher support, hands-on course, because it's a lot of labor on our end. But you know, that's our job. That's what we do. And it's very important to me to make sure that you do, oh, I broke that guy, so I'm not going to use it. It's very important to me that you have that teacher support so that you can do things and really understand what it is you're doing. So when you join us, it's not just watch the videos and move on. It's watch the videos, do the work, submit it to your teacher, get your feedback, learn, and move on to the next project. Or if you didn't understand and you didn't do a great job, they'll give you hints on how to do it better, ask you to do it again. Say, you know what, why don't you try doing this, this, and this? See if it works better for you. Send me another picture, because I know you can do better. And that's what we're here for, because we want you to do the very best you possibly can. And the only way you can do that is if you have teacher support helping guide you, teach you, lead you through. Now, as you're working on your projects, if you're in the Flower Lovers Club, don't forget, you get 20% off. If you're not in the Flower Lovers Club, just through Sunday, all supplies, 10% off. FlowerWorks is the code, just put that in, and you get 10% off. That's our little gift to you for the holidays. We're celebrating Canada Day and the 4th of July. Marisa, Carolyn, what else is going on?
Got anything?
No.
Okay.
She answered the question already.
Oh. Okay. Amanda wants to know if you've done some flowers before in the past. Do you need to do basic again, or can you skip the basic course and go to advanced?
Excellent question. We rewrote the basic course, so the basic course now includes things that we used to include into the advanced course. And then we rewrote the advanced course so that it's more super advanced. So some people choose to go ahead and do the basic even though they've already had studies, but you don't have to. If you have 500 hours of experience and or you've taken other courses that aren't as good as ours, but you've taken a course, never as good as ours. But if you've already got your understanding of the basics and you want to go straight to advanced, you certainly can. If you want to be FDI certified and become a certified floral designer and qualify for the American Institute Floral Designers certification for international dual certification, you would need to do the basic challenge, which is basically a test out of the basic course to prove that you truly know the material, because we want to make sure that you truly get it, that you understand all the concepts. So you could do the basic test out and then go straight to advanced. That's totally fine. You could do the advanced only, get your advanced certificate and be thrilled and not even worry about the basic. That's okay. Or you could go ahead and say, you know what, I want to make sure I have all the pieces. I'm going to do advanced and basic. We have people that have been florists for years and years and years that they just want to do an update. And so they go back and do their basic. And even though they have the basic skills, they said they always learn something new because the science of flowers has changed so much. Marisa, what's going on?
Yeah, so Tammy, who is a graduate of ours, said as a former student with the 500 hours that she would recommend start to finish.
Okay. So, yeah, it's, especially now that we rewrote the program and expanded it, this basic course is way more than basic. It's got so much material in there. And then mechanics have changed over the years. The science of flower care and handling has changed. So even if you've had previous experience, I think in the basic you will still find that you learn so much.
Okay, Leanne, you're gonna love this, sorry.
That's okay.
So we're getting a lot of comments about how awesome this arrangement you're making would be to deliver. Maybe a little difficult. So
See, it's easy. I can deliver this. Yeah.
But Tomasi, hi Tomasi, he suggests to put them both on a cutting board together and just deliver it that way.
True. You could put it on a tray. We have several footed trays like you would see in Asian design, that this would be beautiful on that, and it would elevate it and make it look even that much more spectacular. I did design it such that I could carry it one in each hand. I have these cubes in a larger size that are too big for my hands, and so that I wouldn't have been able to do. So I purposely chose this one so that I knew I could lift it and carry it and move it around to be able to deliver, because I still have to be able to move it. That's a given. So yeah, definitely. So good observation, and setting it on something would happen. So I don't know if you guys can hear the rumbling in the background or not. I will acknowledge that. They are doing construction in the building next door to us, and I can feel the floor under my feet going zzz, and I can sort of hear a little bit of a rumbling and a buzzing. So if you are hearing that, it's construction next door. And I'm like, oh wow, isn't that special? Carolyn.
Yes, I want to give a shout out to Iris. Her daughter just logged in on YouTube. Both Marisa and I have had a chance to talk with this really sweet woman, and she wants to take our classes, and she is feeling a little intimidated that she can't do it. She's feeling like she might be a little too old to start something new, and we both said, no, you can do it, and her daughter's behind her, so shout out to Iris and come join us.
Hi Iris!
Hi, Iris. You know what? You're never too old. If you don't do it now, are you going to be younger next year? No. My oldest student ever was more than 90. Can you believe it? And she came to school one day, and she was sitting there talking to David. David and I were both there. And she said, you know, I just wish I would have done this 10 years ago. And both of us just looked at each other and laughed, because that would have meant she was 80. And we're sitting there going, oh my gosh. But yes, you got to do it. And then there was Mary Frances. Mary Frances was 75 maybe, I think. And well, that was a big bang. So you can see how I added the chrysanthemums in the back, and I'm going to go ahead and add a little more in the front here too, so that I get a little more impact. But you're never too old for flowers. Flowers are one of those things that you really can do until you die, as long as you take care of your body. That's the big important thing. I know florists who are florists clear into their 80s because it brings them joy and happiness, and you can. That makes it pretty spectacular. You do have to take care of your body. You may not be wanting to go climb on a ladder. You know, there's some things that you might change around. But I intend to be doing flowers for a lot of years, and I'm already getting older, but I'm going to continue doing flowers because it brings me joy. It brings me such happiness. What else is going on?
And Liam, we have Loretta with us. And
Hi, Loretta.
she is reassuring Iris that you are never too old.
Loretta did the BLT girls, the Bring Love to the Tables. They did flowers for an adult living facility and made flower arrangements for every single table in there every single week. And it was run by Loretta with a team of volunteers, all older retired people finding happiness and passion in flowers. So no, Iris, never too old, and I look forward to welcoming you to Flower School. Nothing makes me happier than going on to Facebook and posting a picture and saying, welcome to Flower School, Angela, Scott, Wayne, Iris, Mary. You know, it just, yeah, that brings me joy. And with the teachers here, you've already talked to Carolyn and Marisa. You know that they're here for you. You know that they're going to be taking care of you, that it's not going to be a problem. So I'm going to stop on that one. What do you think? Do you like that? A little bit different. You know what I'm wishing? I have so much green here, and then I got the lighter green, but I don't really have anything green over here, and I just feel like I should have something. So I'm going to add a little bit of fern. I said I was going to stop, and then as I was looking at it, I changed my mind because I want that green to continue out, because I've got wonderful line, I've got some focal emphasis, I've got a form, I've got space, I've got texture, I've got good color, but I didn't really have unity with the green coming on out, carrying your eye out the rest of the way. So this way it exaggerates that movement and brings it out a little bit further. Just finishing the design, I think, better. What do you think? Does that help? Does that finish off better? You know, when you're in Flower School, that's where the teacher support, because you can make an arrangement and it's pretty, but you're thinking, gosh, I wish there was one thing more. Something's missing. I don't know what it is. What's missing? And you send the picture to your teacher and they say, what if you blah, 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 and you try that and you go, oh, that's it. That's the magic touch. That's exactly what I needed. It makes it perfect now. And that's something you can only get with teacher support. Yeah. So now we've had an hour of fun, creativity, collaboration. Thanks to each of you. I hope you spent time kind of watching comments and connecting with each other. Get to know each other. This is your tribe. This is a collaboration for you to get together with like-minded souls in an international mode, because you can do Flower School from anywhere. Don't forget, if you need flower supplies and you're not a member of the club, just till Sunday, you can use the code FlowerWorks and get 10% off all your supplies. If you're in the club, use your club code. Save 20%. That's for you. If you're not in Flower School yet, I invite you to join us. And lastly, if you haven't shared this, would you take a moment, share this out, tag a friend, spread the word, invite everyone to join us next week. Next week's live is going to be so much fun. Teacher Marisa will be up here, and she's going to be talking about elements and principles, specifically line and space. And you'll be watching her live on Wednesday, but check your email on Monday, because she has a wonderful slideshow she's going to be sharing with you on Monday. We'll be sending the email out, and it is so cool. I promise you, you're going to love it. I did. I thought it was grand. So next week is Marisa week. She'll be in your email on Monday, and then she'll be live on Wednesday. And I'll be on the other side, joining you and watching and verbalizing. But for now, get out there, do something you love, and join us in Flower School. See you next week.